faster than I expected and got a cough right as we went live. Got to remember to wait to hit that button. So how are we doing? It's Friday. Oh, and man, Friday could not come soon enough. I am worn out, you guys. I don't know why. I don't feel like this week has been particularly hectic, but I do feel like, you know how sometimes you just get emotionally worn out? Like you've got so many things on your mind that it just kind of, it wears you out way more than like running a marathon could ever wear you out. Happy Friday, Julie. So guys, how do I sound? Do I sound okay? Because we have just had this constant battle with the microphone and sound. Just let me know if everything sounds okay. I can do the wiggle dance with the little connection if I need to. I did return the old microphone yesterday. It is on its way happily back to Amazon. So I'm going to have to find another one. If any of you all have any recommendations for microphones, let me know. I just need a little lapel mic. I do have my AirPods, which I use, but sometimes they fall out of my ears. And that is also a constant struggle. So I just can't seem to win, you guys. I just cannot seem to win. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Carrie Lee. Hi, Kathy. Kathleen. Oh, golly. Taking a breath. Just got to take a breath. Hi, Terry. I'm so glad to see you guys. There's Jane and Wanda. The party can start now. Jane and Wanda are here. Hooray, hooray. So, you guys got plans? What are we doing for the weekend? Whose house can I come to? Can we hang out? Let's play. I'll wear my mask and stay 6 feet away from you. Oh gosh, I wish. One of these days, still low sound and tinny. Oh, I cannot win, I'm telling you. I know somebody out there just screenshotted that face I just made. You guys are hilarious about that, by the way. Hi. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Randy. Hey, look, it's me. Actually, it's Joan, but it still makes me laugh. All right, let me wiggle. Let me wiggle. Okay. Does it sound any better after I have wiggled it? Let me wiggle it a little. Oh, if I wiggle it a little, does that make it better? Hi, Rosanna. Hi. So I'm just waiting because I know there is a little bit of a delay. Sound is good here. Okay, good. Donna, I was just thinking about you. Guys, I want you guys to know that Snack Shenanigans is still on my radar. I have not completely abandoned that. I just don't have any snacks at the moment because I've had to make some major purchases with business funds. And so snacks has been kind of on the back burner, but there will be a new Snack Shenanigans within the past, have it turned all the way up. That's not good. Oh my gosh, Randy has some Kansas City Chief beads for me. That's awesome. That is awesome. So what I was saying was the Snack Shenanigans, guys, that's coming again soon. Just know that. I haven't made an order yet, so just let me know. Or not let me know. I will let you know when that is happening. But the reason that Donna, I need to go steal my son's microphone. The reason why Donna is on my mind is because, guys, she sent me some stinky fish. And and I didn't get a chance to show it to you guys because my husband would not let me bring it in the house. That's how stinky it was. And she let me know ahead of time. She was like, I'm sending you this fish and it's really, really stinky. And, you might want to like rehydrate it outside because it's that stinky. And I was like, oh, I can't wait. Something stinky. That's awesome, right? Well, so my son calls and he's like, I'm on my way back from the post office and this package stinks. What is this? And I knew it was this stinky fish. And so it only made it as far as the garage. And I thought, well, I could do this out here in the garage and I could do a Facebook Live, but my garage is really embarrassing looking. I mean, it's like a hot mess. It's like everybody's garage. I don't really know why I was that embarrassed about it. But my husband was like, you are not bringing that in the house at all, under no circumstances. So I couldn't bring it inside, but Donna wins. Donna wins the snack challenge because it was so stinky that even at the post office, they had put it in a little locker all by itself. And like the rest of the mail was stinky. And Donna had put beads inside there. And so I had to get the beads out. It was so funny. It was so funny. Like I left the beads in the garage to kind of like air out. It was just hilarious, you guys. I wish you had been a part of it. So just know snacks are still happening. You guys picked out some really disgusting things on Amazon. So I have to go back to that list and look and pick out a couple of things to order that we can try on here because I love doing that with you guys. It's just so fun. So no stinky beads. I let them air out before I brought them in. It was just so funny. It was just so funny. And Donna, I appreciate that so much. It made my day. It was hysterical. All right. So, hi, Jackie. Hi, Guy. Hi, guys. Hi, Guy. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Hold on. What the heck fish is that? She said it was some kind of, it stinks in the garage. It does. She said it was some kind of cod, maybe. I don't know, but man, it was awesome. It was a hysterical experience. It was fun. It was just really fun. We got a really good laugh out of it, and you know, it's one of those where like. You remember back in school and like you don't want to give each other cooties, like don't touch me, you got cooties. So like we were like chasing each other around the garage with the fish. We're like, don't touch me with the fish. So it was funny. It was so funny. Hi everyone. So guys, let's talk about today's project because I have a feeling this was going to take a minute. I hope that we can get all the way through this. If we can't, just know that I am always around to answer questions if you need any help with this one. So about 2 weeks ago, we did a right angle weave necklace project using some Czech glass pearls. And I wanted to just kind of show you the basics of the right angle weave. And when we did that project, I mentioned to everybody, you know, or I asked rather, if you guys would like to see another right angle weave project that is along the same lines, but maybe a step up with some embellishing. And so I thought that's what we would do today. I thought we would take some of these gorgeous Czech glass pearls. You can use any that you want. I got mine from Jessie James Beads, of course. And then I also have this drop bead, this really beautiful drop bead that came off of one of the new Jessie James Bead strands. There are two of them, one on either end of this gorgeous strand. And so I thought we would use those to create an earring. Now, this earring is large and in charge. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna show you how you can shorten this up. Okay, if this is too big for you, you can shorten this up just a little bit. And if it's still too big, you can use it as a pendant, which it looks awesome as a pendant as well. Okay, so I've got alternative solutions for this if this earring is just way too big for you, but guys, I'm telling you, that's princess jewelry all day long. I mean, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. So we're using a little bit of everything. There are seed beads in this, you guys. You can grab some of the seed beads from over on the Jessie James Beads website as well. I'm using from the Perfectly Peach collection of seed beads. It's like their little 3-tier collection. And so I am using size 11s. That's going to be kind of small for some of you who are not used to using seed beads. You can do this with 8s or 6s, but it does kind of change up how many you're going to use. Okay, so this is like a fully adjustable project. You can change this up however you want to and make the adjustments so that this project works for you. Do not be scared of this project. Please don't be. I know there's a lot of you out there that are all about wire and you're all about stringing, and this is not something that is necessarily something that you would try or that you would ever think about trying, but give it a chance because I feel like right angle weave is one of those very, it kind of bridges the gap because you can incorporate right angle weave into so many other things. You can even do it with wire if you want to. You can do it with bead stringing wire and you just use some crimp beads with it. So don't be afraid of this. This is just going to kind of show you some different configurations with beads. There are seed beads involved. We are using Wildfire, but I promise you that you can do this. I know that you can do this. I have convinced so many of you to pick up wire and make wire wrapped loops. If you can make wire wrapped loops and you've got the patience for that, you've got the patience for this. So if this is something that you've ever wanted to try, now is your chance. Yes, Donna says right angle weave is beginner friendly, 110%. Even the embellishments that we're going to do on this are beginner friendly. Like this is where I started with, you know, bead weaving. It was with right angle weave. Joan says, I think I am me again. I'm glad you are you again. Yeah, it makes a gorgeous bracelet, by the way. It's one of my favorite bracelet designs, but I thought we'd keep it short and simple with the earrings, which is still going to kind of take us a minute. Don't be scared. Colleen says, I'm scared. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid of this. You can do this. And even if you get tripped up, okay, you can watch the replay. You can, I was about to say, you can call me on the phone. You cannot call me on the phone. You can message me, which is just as good because you know, the messages go to my phone. So you kind of are calling me, I guess. But I'm here. I'm here for your, you know, to help you out with this. All right. Let's do this, shall we? Let's get down to business. Okay. Excuse me. So for our project, like I mentioned, I'm going to be using some of these size 8 Czech glass pearls. I really like the Czech glass pearls just because I like the coating that is on them. There's something about them that to me is just really, really pretty. You're not going to need a whole lot of these though, okay? You're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going to need 10 of the pearls. Is that right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you're going to need 4 of the pearls or 4 other round shaped beads, okay? You're going to need a drop bead of some variety, and I used, like I said, from this new strand because that bead is so different and cool. I thought, you know what, that'll make a great drop. So that's going to be the drop that we use, okay? And then I just grabbed some seed beads. This was a three pack. We're going to be using this kind of, it's almost a rose gold, but not quite. It is on the pinky side of things. So that's what I'm going to be using. And then you need some bicones or any other small, like 4mm sized bead for this, okay? Let me go ahead and grab my drop because I have to undo the entire strand. So I just dumped all those beads. I hate that, but I had to get to this guy and it was on the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I needed a bead mat, you guys. I didn't even think about grabbing a bead mat. We're going to use some Wildfire for this. Wildfire is my favorite beading thread. This is a Beadalon product. This is the 0.008. I use this and the 0.006 the most often. I'm using gray, which doesn't necessarily go with the project, but you don't really see it a whole lot, so I'm okay with it. But do know that the Wildfire comes in different colors, okay? So you can pick a color that's gonna match your beadwork and kind of disappear in the beadwork. If you struggle to find a color that works, always go with the green. The green is a great default. It's a good Wildfire default setting, just because the green really does kind of camouflage and disappear with almost every color. Just a note, excuse me, about the Wildfire is that it is thermally bonded. And so that means that it doesn't need any conditioning. You don't have to use beeswax on this or any other kind of thread conditioner. It already has that kind of pre-treat coating on it, which also makes it really super easy to thread your needles. So what I like to do is I like to take a pair of pliers and just smash the end of it, and it makes it nice and flat. And now I can very easily add a needle to the end of this with it being flat. So I don't have to fight with it forever. See how easy that was? Like that, super quick. Quick and easy. Okay. As far as the length is concerned, you're going to need about 4 feet of this. And that's not a whole lot. If that still seems like a lot for you, you can cut it down to about 2.5 to 3 feet, but know that you might have to add more thread depending on how much reinforcing that you're going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to pull off a length of this and cut that off. Okay, so to get started, we're just going to start with our regular, like we did before, just our basic right angle weave. And I'm just going to pick up 4 of the pearls, okay? And you can, like I said, you can use any bead that you want, but when you're starting out with right angle weave, or with when you're learning any new bead weaving technique, it is much easier in my mind, in my opinion, to use a bigger bead to kind of practice with. And pearls is a great way. Do you have to stretch it? You absolutely do not. So the Wildfire is, there's absolutely no stretch to it whatsoever, which is a really good thing because it means that over time, particularly with things like rings, they're not going to stretch out on you, which is cool. Okay, so thread on our 4 beads to start with, and I'm going to bring those down to the end. I'm going to leave myself, you know, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches. It doesn't have to be a big long tail, but you want enough tail so that you can eventually thread a needle to the end of this and thread it back in to hide it. Okay, so make sure that you've got enough that you can still weave through a few beads. Okay, and I'm just going to take these 4 beads and tie them into a circle, which ends up being a little kind of clover shape. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go all the way back through all of these beads. Okay, so I'm just going to follow the path that already exists. So when we were doing the necklace that we did a couple weeks ago, I didn't reinforce as we were working, but because we're doing such a short section of the right angle weave, I actually am going to reinforce every single time we make one of these little clusters. Okay. The other brand, guys, of the bead thread is Fireline. And some people are either or, and other people swear by one or the other. I've never really been a fan of the Wildfire, but again, I'm also partial to Beadalon because that's the company that I work for. But then like my friend Jane, she does not like Wildfire at all. So she prefers the Fireline. And honestly, whatever works for you is, you know, use what works for you. I definitely stand behind the Wildfire, but I understand some people, it's just not what they're looking for. Okay, so I've reinforced, meaning I've gone back through all of these beads just following the path of the thread that already exists. Now, notice that, like I said, you can see my thread. This gray does not go with this, and that's okay. Yeah, we're not supposed to say that other brand, but that's okay. No, it's actually okay. I mean, I don't want to pretend like there aren't other brands in the world. I mean, let's be honest, guys. There's room in the industry for everybody. So, just so you know. All right. So, yeah, see, Maria says she's not a fan of the Wildfire. She likes the Fireline, or she's going to try that. It's totally up to you, you know? Okay. So, what was I going to say? I have no idea. Oh, so even though the thread doesn't match this very well, it's going to be beneficial to you if you are a beginner, right? So that you can actually see the thread as we're going. So it works out okay. But you'll notice that I have reinforced all the way around. This is my tail where I tied my knot, right? And I've just followed around so that I've got 2 threads running through each bead. That really just reinforces and makes everything keep its nice shape. Okay, I am exiting a bead. If I hold our little cluster in my hand so that it is in a diamond shape, not like a square, but like a diamond with the bead on the top, bead on the bottom, and a left and a right, I'm exiting out the top of the bead over here to what is my right. Okay, now I'm going to pick up 3 more of these pearls. And we're going to make another cluster, but they're going to share this bead. That's why I only need to pick up 3. So, sorry, I don't mean to reach across here. I can move my little bowl over here. So I'm going to pick up 3 pearls. Okay. And I'm going to drop those down. Okay, and now you can see where they're exiting, or where the placement of those is. Okay, I need to make a loop out of these. So my thread, remember, is exiting from the top of this bead. I need to go into that bead in the same direction that my thread is exiting. So my needle just needs to follow that thread. You want to see pics of my bead room? Are you talking to me? I can manage that, I think. It's kind of clean at the moment, kind of, sort of. There's some packing stuff in the floor, but so now when I pull, I've got two of those little clusters, but they're sharing this center bead. Your center bead is always going to be the one that you share with, okay? And it ends up being in the center of the two clusters. That's what I mean when I say, you know, when I say that it's sharing. I mean in the center. I'm sorry. I was reading a comment too. Like my brain just took a detour. I'm so sorry. You guys know what I mean. Like this is the center of the two clusters. It's not really the center because it's going to be your outer edge bead, right? But it does become the center. You know. Okay. Anyway, whatever. Now I want to reinforce all of these. So we added our 3 beads. Okay. And I'm going to take my needle back through all of these. And again, like I said, when we did the necklace, we didn't do that. We didn't reinforce as we were going. But because we're doing such a small section, we have time. It's, you know, it's easier to just go ahead and reinforce as we work. And so all that means is we're just following the same path of all of the thread. We're not making any new paths. We're not crossing over anything. We're just going in the same path, and make sure that you're pulling nice and tight. Yeah, squirrel. Okay, make sure you're pulling nice and tight. I don't want these to be wibbly wobbly, right? Now, I'm exiting out that center bead where we started, right? That's where I added these guys. Now I'm exiting back out. Now I need to sew back around. So I'm exiting the center bead. I'm going to come into this bead, and then I'm going to go into this bead because remember, this bead is where we're going to share. Okay. So again, just following the path of the thread that's already there. We're not making any new paths. Okay. Now this time, remember when we were in this bead, we were exiting out the top. Now we're exiting down the bottom. Okay. Okay, now, remember when I said we could adjust this earring and make it smaller? If the one that I showed you is 3 sections of the right angle weave clusters, okay? If this is too big for you, I would stop right here, okay? Don't make another little cluster, just stay right here with this. And if you're gonna kind of make a long, or if you're gonna watch this on the replay, just wait till we get to after we make our next cluster before you move on to the next step, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pick up 3 more of our pearls. Okay. Our thread is exiting our bead down, right? So we want to take our needle, we want our needle to go down. We want our needle to follow that exact same path. So our needle is going down too. We're just kind of chasing the thread that already exists, and then we pull. And when we pull into a little cluster again, see? And so we've got 1 cluster, 2 clusters, 3 clusters. There's this 2 and 3 are sharing this bead, okay? Now, again, I'm going to reinforce all of these beads. So I'm just following the path that we already made, making sure that you're keeping your tension nice and tight, okay? You don't want this to be, you don't want it to be wobbly at all. You got to keep the tension tight. Okay. All right. Now we're back to where we started. So we're exiting this bead right here. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to, and now if you stopped at 2, you can come on with us to the next step. The next thing we want to do is we want to add our drop. Okay. So we need to get to this bead here, right? So we're gonna sew through this bead and then up through this bead, just following the path, okay? Okay, whoa, almost knocked my lamp over. Okay, now we're exiting, going out the top of this last bead right here, okay? We're gonna pick up, I gotta get my seed beads, and I don't have a mat. I don't wanna lose seed beads, so we're gonna have to get a mat. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna have to take the world's dirtiest bead mat, so excuse the stains and the glue marks on this bead mat. I'm a real person with real stains. Like, seriously, this is the dirtiest bead mat. It has a little glue on it. I'm gonna dump out my seed beads here. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we are going to pick up 6 of the size 11 seed beads, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's 6. I'm going to drop those down. Okay, let me make sure that that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just making sure with my other earring that it was in fact 6. Now, our drop bead that came from that beautiful strand, we're going to thread that on. Okay. And now we're going to thread on another seed bead. Okay. And we're going to drop that down. Okay. Now, we got to turn around. And we... To turn around and to make this drop bead stay in place, we're going to use that seed bead right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip over the seed bead, okay? Don't take your needle back through it, but we are going to take our needle back through our drop bead, okay? So skip the seed bead, go over the drop bead, and then pull. And when you pull, you've pulled that little seed bead right up to the hole on your drop. That's going to hold everything in place. Now you want to pick up 6 more seed beads, okay? Okay, we've picked up 6 more seed beads. I'm going to drop those down. I want to show you where those need to lay, okay? So they need to lay like that. We want a triangle of our seed beads. So we're exiting this bead here, right? That's where the path of our thread and all of our beads is going. Same thing, just like the right angle weave, because this basically is more right angle weave. We've just, instead of using round beads, we've used a mixture of other beads. We're going to enter the bottom of that bead, right? And pull. And we've created our little drop. So that's going to be the bottom. Okay. So we used the same right angle weave technique by sharing this bead, right, with all of these beads to make another cluster like this, but it is made up of seed beads, our drop bead and seed beads, right? But we still made a circle, okay? So now we want to reinforce this. So same thing, just like if you're reinforcing the little clusters, we're going to reinforce these. So we're going to go right down through all 6 of those seed beads that we added with our needle and our thread. We're going to go down through the drop and out the end. Okay. Pull. Okay. Now you want to go through that seed bead. Okay. Yes, Robin says, so far I can do this. You can do every bit of this, I promise you. Now we need to go back up our bead. Make sure that you don't miss the seed bead, okay? Take your needle through that seed bead on the bottom. Then go up through your drop bead We're just following the exact same path that we took before. We're not making any changes. We're just going back through everything. Okay, you can see my needle coming out, our drop bead. Pull my thread, and then I need to go up these 6 seed beads on this side. And guys, don't feel like, particularly if you're a beginner, don't feel like you have to do all 6 beads in one swoop. I did 5. I'm coming out 5. If you have to do them one at a time, it's okay. It is okay. And there's my last little seed bead here. I need to go through. Okay. Now, we want to continue to be kind of seamless with this. So I'm going to go back through this bead. Okay, just following the path. Now, we're right back where we started. Before we added any of the drop, any of the seed beads, the drop bead, any of this, we're exiting exactly where we started before we did that. But now, and I notice I'm turning the entire thing in my hand, okay, and I'm actually holding it in the direction that it goes. Hi, Tina. I am going... Stacia says, do I need a curved needle like yours? Well, let me tell you, my needle started out straight. This is just kind of what happens to them. I started out with a straight needle and they get really funky on me. So no, you need a straight needle that you will turn into a curved funny needle. I promise. I love that. I love that. Okay, now we're going to work back up our design and we're going to go across the tops of these with our little embellishments. Okay. Yeah, don't be angry. Don't be angry. The videos are available to watch forever. Jane is so right. Don't get frustrated. You can always watch this on the replay and you can always ask me if you've got questions, guys. I am always here to help you. All right. Okay. So we want to make an embellishment. Remember, we did right angle weave before, but we just left it plain. Now we're going to do the embellishing part. And this part, you guys can do this too, okay? Super easy peasy. All we're going to do is we're going to remember our bicones that we needed. We needed a few bicones. I'm going to bring those over here to my seed beads so that they are where I can get to them, okay? I'm going to pick up 3 seed beads, 1 bicone, and 3 seed beads. Okay, now, this is where it matters, where your needle is exiting, okay? Like, I mean, it always matters, but I want you to pay particular attention right now, okay? So, our needle is exiting this bead right here, coming out this direction. We want our embellishment to lay diagonally across that open section of our cluster, okay? So where we want our needle and thread to go next is we're exiting out this direction of this bead. We want to come to this bead and exit out the same direction, okay? In order to, don't go down, you want to go across. So lay your beads across just like that, and then, okay, now figure out where you need that needle to go. It needs to go inside our shared bead of our right angle weave clusters. Okay. Hi, Wendy. And then when I pull, it's going to lay that little embellishment right down where it goes. Okay. That was easy. The only thing about this, hi Karen. The only thing about this is that I don't want you to get confused about where your needle needs to be going, okay? Because you can just as easily lay this across here and then go down, and it'll do okay, but you're gonna have to sew all the way around. It's gonna droop a little to the left. So make sure that you're going out this way, okay? That you're using these center shared beads when you're doing your embellishments. It's just going to make your life a whole lot easier, and you're not going to fuss with this nearly as much, okay? Now, we're right here where we need to be for our next embellishment, right? So we're just going to do the exact same thing. We want our thread to go right across just like that, but we want to fill it up with beads first. So we're going to pick up 3 size 11s. we're going to pick up a bicone, 3 size 11s. Okay. We want that to lay right across just like our last embellishment. So when I drop all of that down across, now we want to go, remember our shared bead? We want to go through our shared bead just like before. I have to be careful though, because that's where my knot is, where I started. So I'm going to have to kind of wiggle my needle a little bit to get past that knot. Okay. And pull. Okay, and it's going to lay right across the top, just like the previous one. And again, we're right where we need to be. We don't need to sew through to get anywhere. We're already exiting. Look at my pitiful little needle. We're already exiting that shared bead, right? That shared bead right here. So again, we're just making the same move. We're going to add 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, a bicone, and 3 seed beads. Okay. Oh, that was only 2. And that was 4. Okay. Thank you, Karen. So now when I drop all those down, I want them to lay right across that opening, right? And so I want my thread to go into our top bead. This would be a shared bead if there was another cluster here, right? And pull. And try to keep your tail out of the way, because we haven't really done anything with that yet, okay? And it sometimes it wants to get stuck into your work. And there you go. Okay, you've done all of the embellishments. What size bicones and pearls? So, Miss Emily, that is a great question. The bicones are size 4, our seed beads are size 11s, and our pearls are size 8s. And just in case you guys are curious as to where I got the Czech glass pearls, I got those, and this beautiful drop bead is from a strand. They all came from Jesse James Beads, and the seed beads did too. They were in a little trio pack of Tohos that you can get over on the Jesse James Beads site. If you need seed beads, they've got some cute little 3-tier mixes that are cool. Okay, so that's, you can even stop here if you wanted to. Needle, just I don't know, this is either a 10 or an 11. And I just grabbed mine from Beadalon, and I'm really terrible on them. Like, so I buy them in bulk, because, I mean, really, look at this guy. So Sylvia says, if we wanted to make this on a smaller scale, is there a proportion scale between the 3 beads? So, not necessarily. And a lot of times it's going to be just kind of trial and error. So, if you decided to go with size 6 pearls, or a size 4, right? You could even go as small as a 4 if you wanted to. I mean, you can do this with seed beads too. But if you wanted to do, let's say you just wanted to go down to a 6, then in your middle section here, instead of 3 seed beads, a bicone, and 3 seed beads, it may end up being more like 2 seed beads, a bicone, and 2 seed beads, or 1 seed bead, a bicone, and 1 seed bead. Okay, so that's where that difference is going to come in. You're just going to minus a seed bead until you get it to look kind of the way you want it to look. So I wouldn't necessarily change up the bicone necessarily. A size 4 bicone is going to work perfectly in the center of 4s, 6s, and 8s, you know, millimeter beads. But you do want to kind of change up how many seed beads you've got there. Okay, and the same with your drop. So my drop, I used 6 beads to make my triangle, 6 on this side and 6 on this side, and then my drop. If you wanted to make it a little bit smaller, or if you were going to use a smaller drop bead and these beads were smaller, you didn't need this much open space, you would shorten up, right? You just minus some of the seed beads. So all of your size adjustments can really be made just by adjusting how many seed beads you put in things. I think I can do this. Thank you. You're so welcome. Yay. You're so welcome. Okay, so we're not quite done though. We've got a couple more things that we need to do. And so if you wanted to stop here and add your clasp and be done, you could. But I like to embellish the spaces in between. So whenever I teach seed bead classes, particularly with right angle weave and with peyote as well, not that I've taught any peyote classes, but I feel the same way about it. You're always just filling in the empty spaces. It's like putting together a puzzle. So what would fit right in here? Well, I don't know. Let's try something. So for this earring in particular, the space in between there, another 4mm bicone would fit, or a 3mm bicone, or maybe 3 seed beads or 2 seed beads. So you can play around with the open spaces that you have in your beadwork and find out what works, what fits, and what looks good, right? You can play around with it just as much with seed beads and beading like this as you can with your wire working and your stringing. Have fun with it. Don't get stressed out about it. Don't take it too seriously. You just want to pop beads in where you can and find out what looks good. Okay, now let's go ahead and add our top to ours before we do pop in our little bicones on the sides. So what I want is I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seed beads and a 4mm jump ring. Okay, so again, notice where you're exiting. We're exiting this bead on the top. We're coming out to my right. Okay, we're going to pick up 5 seed beads. Okay, there's 5. It was 5 and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 5. We've got 5 seed beads. I'm going to drop these down. Okay. Now, I want to thread on to my needle a 4mm jump ring. If you don't want to use jump ring for this and you want to use a wire guardian, you absolutely can. I just find that for beginners, it's easier just to go with a jump ring. So I'm going to thread on a jump ring. I'm going to drop that down. Okay. Now, I'm going to separate out that top seed bead, number 5. Okay. I want to take my needle, skipping over the jump ring, and I'm going back through the opposite direction. So I'm going back down through number 5, and I'm going to pull. Okay. And then I'm going to hold on to that jump ring and pull to slide everything down. Okay. I've attached my jump ring. Now I need 4 more seed beads. So we've got 4 seed beads, a shared seed bead with a jump ring, and 4 more seed beads. Okay. And now I'm going to enter this bead on the other side. So again, it's still that right angle weave pathway. We're still making a circle, sort of like our drop here on the bottom, but instead of our drop, it's a jump ring, right? So now you've got a jump ring up here where you can connect things. Oh no, somebody's sad. Don't be sad. Stacia says, would a left-handed person do this backwards? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a left-handed person. I'm not really sure. I do know that it really doesn't matter like if you go clockwise or counterclockwise to get started, right? So mine may be coming out like right here when I said, oh, now we're all exiting this bead out. It could be going the other direction. I mean, it really doesn't matter as long as your results are the same, right? Wanda says, I was wondering if beading needles were single use. Well, when it comes to me and the way that I use them, a lot of times the answer to that is yes. Oh, goodness. Okay, so we've attached our jump ring here. Now I want to reinforce this. I'm just going to make one more pass through this. So I'm going to go right back up all those seed beads, including our 5th seed bead. Okay. My needle goes all the way through that. Whoops. Don't get your thread caught on things. Okay. Now, just like the seed bead down here on the bottom, you want to go through that jump ring. Make sure you pass your needle through that jump ring. Okay. And now we're going to go back down through the number 5 seed bead that we're sharing right at the top of our little triangle. And you might have to wiggle a little bit. Try not to sew your finger to it, which is what I almost did. Okay. single-use needles. Mine definitely are. Oh, goodness. Okay. Pull through. And guys, if it starts to get snug on you, you can always bring your pliers in and pull on that needle. Okay. Whoops. Oh, no. What have I done? There we go. Okay. Now I need to go back down these 4. So again, we're just reinforcing. We haven't done anything extra. We're just going back through all of the beads that we just added. I just seem to be having a interesting time since my needle now has a mind of its own with that funny shape. Okay. And I got to keep that tail out of the way. That's really kind of the biggest pain. At any point through your weaving, if the tail just gets to be too much for you and you're just really struggling and he keeps getting tied up into your work, I'm going to go right back through this bead again. You can always stop what you're doing, add a needle to it, thread it through a few beads, and cut it off. You know, just get it out of the way. I try to save it till the end, but sometimes it's just too much. You know, it's just always a struggle and a fight with it. Okay, so I have reinforced all of that, right? And let's see. I needed to add my bicone here, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're exiting this top bead, okay, coming out this direction. I'm going to go through the next bead. I'm not making any extra paths. I'm just following the regular thread, okay? I'm now exiting this bead on this side. See where my thread is? It's going to go in between these 2 beads. I'm going to pick up a bicone, okay? And I'm going to go through the next check glass pearl and pull. And when I do that, it's going to pop that little bicone into place right between the 2 pearls. See how it sits right in between there? I'm going to do that again between the next 2. So I'm going to pick up a bicone. I'm going to go into the bead directly below this bead. So from this bead into this bead, pop these into place, just like so. Okay? Now, I need to get over here to the other side so we can go back up the other side. I'm going to go into the bottom check glass pearl here, okay? Whoops. Okay. And just following the path, I'm going to go into this bead. Okay. Now I am in a position to add another bicone. So this time, instead of going down, we're going up. So between this guy and this guy, I'm going to pick up a bicone, go through the next bead, okay, whoops, and pop it right into place. And you heard it, it snapped. It makes a little snap. Okay, now I'm ready to add another. So pick up another bicone. I'm going to add it between these 2. So I'm going to go into this bead, pop it right into place. Okay, so now we've got bicones going up both sides. I want to add one more bicone, one here and one here. So my needle is exiting this bead right here. I don't have another check glass pearl to go into, so I'm actually just going to go into these seed beads. So I'm going to pick up a bicone, okay, and I'm going to go into these seed beads, just as if we were reinforcing them, right? Just right on up through there. Might need to use your pliers to pull that needle because it's getting really snug in there, okay? Just want to be careful when you're doing that you don't crack your seed beads. You're not surprised that I'm using these colors? I love these colors. They're so pretty for fall. And that orange, that kind of funny orange, you guys know I love that one. So now when you pull that one instead of sitting between two check glass pearls, it's kind of sitting between the pearl and our seed beads to make that more of like a little seamless look. Okay. Now I'm going to come down the seed beads. Okay. So I'm just taking my needle back down through all these seed beads. Don't feel like you have to do them all at the same time. You can go through a few and come out and go through a few more. Okay. Still got one. There's my last guy right there. Okay. And now I'm going to pick up my last bicone. Okay. And I'm going to go into this check glass pearl. Okay. And you can go ahead and exit that pearl if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and exit out the bicone because my needle was already like it wanted to. I didn't want to fight with it. And then just pop that one into place. And there you go. That's it. That's all there is to it. And at this point, all we need to do is just kind of sew in our ends, right? And so to do that, you just, you know, you want to tie a half-hitch knot wherever you happen to be, you know, come in and I'm going to, I want to pass through, hold on. Try to get between the seed bead and, the bicone and the pearl here. So I've placed my needle in there, right? I'm going to come out, pull my thread till I make a little loop, stick my needle through it and pull, and that's going to make a little half hitch knot. You can do a couple of those in a couple of different places, but don't ever cut your thread right where you make a half hitch knot. Okay, so I'm going to thread my needle. I made a knot right there. I'm going to thread my needle through the next bead. Okay, or the next 2 or 3 beads, makes no difference, just whatever. Mine just wants to come out next to the bicones for whatever reason. Okay, go ahead and pull. You can do another half hitch knot here if you want to. You know, just make yourself a little. All you're doing with the half hitch knots, guys, is you're just looping the beading thread around itself. You're just knotting the beading thread to the beading thread. It doesn't have anything to do with the beads. You just want to knot that thread to itself, right, to secure your thread so that when your everyday wear with your jewelry piece, it's not going to unravel, which is really, that's rare with beadwork, particularly where you've reinforced a lot. So it's not necessary that you do a ton of knots, but 1 or 2, you know. All right, I'm going to go through another bead and then I'm just going to trim this off. Okay, I've tied a couple of knots. I'm exiting this bead here. Now, if I had my Wildfire burner, you guys, Beadalon is sending me another Wildfire burner. It just hasn't gotten here yet. So I just trimmed that one off. Now the same thing with your tail that got left behind. You know, he's been thread through a lot of things. You don't necessarily have to, you know, do a lot of half hitch knots with him, but I do like to thread on a needle. I don't want to cut him off because right where he is, because he is at a knot. No beads were harmed in the making. No, but the needle certainly was. He's on his last legs here. So I'm just going to take this guy and I'm going to thread him through a couple of beads and then I'm going to cut him off too. So just find a spot. Doesn't matter where, you know. Just don't make your own paths, okay? You always want that thread to be going in a path that already exists. You don't want to start crisscrossing your thread across stuff and then end up with these like rogue threads, right? You want the thread to be as invisible as possible, right? And sometimes it's not completely possible. That's why we always try to pick a thread that matches with our work so that it disappears in there. But for the most part, you really try to keep your threads as hidden as possible. So that's it. For the end of this, all I'm going to do is just add an ear wire to this. Now, again, I know that I saw a comment go by, this is going to make a beautiful pendant, but earrings, not so much. I understand. I understand these are really big earrings, but I totally would wear them because I love big earrings. But again, remember, we can adjust all of this. Yes, a moment of silence for that poor little needle. You can adjust all of this. You can make this smaller. You don't have to use size 8, Czech glass pearls for this. You can use 6s. You can use 4s. You can use whatever you want to. Instead of doing 3 clusters, just do 2, right? 2 clusters is pretty. Even a single cluster with or without a drop is a gorgeous earring. Not only that, but a single cluster as a ring is really beautiful too. Okay, so that was really kind of the point with all of this. I realize these are huge earrings. Some people will love them as earrings. Other people are going to go and make this a bracelet. It's a beautiful bracelet design. It's a beautiful pendant design. And don't forget that when we did the right angle weave a couple of weeks ago, remember how we went off to the sides? Right? We made a straight line like we did here, but then we would weave back through to one of these and do another cluster. You can widen up your sections of your right angle weave and make big beaded sections and then embellish them with whatever you want to. So the right angle weave it's one of those that you can do so many different things with. It's why I'm always excited to show it to you guys and to teach it to you guys. You'll notice that my embellishments are going in opposite directions. So this earring is going this way and this earring is going that way. You can make them both match if you want to. It's up to you. It really, to me, I don't think that that's, I don't think that it makes that big of a difference. But, it's whatever works for you. But yes, you can make this smaller. You can turn it into a pendant. You can make it bigger. You can do whatever you want to with it. But hopefully I've shown some of you that were worried and scared of the right angle weave that this is not something to be afraid of. You can totally do this. And if you get hung up or you've got questions, ask. That's what I'm here for. That's what the Sarah Ellis Designs community is for. All right, I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to put these on because I'm dying to try them on. Ooh, yes, a 4-piece set with this would be gorgeous. Ooh, yeah, it could be a brooch. See, you guys have amazing ideas. You guys have great ideas, and I love that. That's the point of all of this. I don't expect you guys to go recreating exactly the things that I make. If you do, that is awesome. I love to see that. But what I really want is to inspire you to try something out of the ordinary for yourself. Give it a shot. You never know what might happen. You never know. Seed beads or bead weaving in general might be the next step in your journey. And don't be afraid to take those steps and see. You might hate it, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I love Kumihimo. I love Viking knit. That's probably a better example. I love Viking knit. Absolutely love it. I suck at it. I'm terrible. Absolutely horrible. I've tried it and tried it and tried it, which you guys know how I am with wire. I'm a rock star with wire. I'm not, I can toot my own horn about that because it's true. I've worked hard to be able to do that. Viking knit, it's like kryptonite. I love the way it looks. I can't do it. Can't do it. But I didn't know that I couldn't do it till I tried it. You know what I mean? So here are the earrings. Those are so pretty. I love princess jewelry. It's like I must have been a princess in a past life or something because I need big, fabulous, fancy jewels. And that to me is what these are. Big, fabulous, and fancy. It needs a bracelet, a ring, and a gorgeous, whole big, centerpiece necklace to go with it. I don't have enough Czech glass beads for that. Might have to get in touch with Sarah. I'm going to need you to send me some more of those Czech glass pearls. But yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope I've inspired you. I hope that I have given you the courage to try something that is brand new for you. I'm here to answer all your questions. Give it a try. See what happens. The worst thing that can happen is you hate it. And that's okay. Now you know. Nothing wrong with that, right? It's always a learning opportunity. All right, so trying to think of things to let you guys know about. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, just other than the fact that I really, really want you guys to please invite others to come and join the Sarah Ellis Designs community, our Facebook group. If you have not had the opportunity to do that yet, please do so. We are a group of creatives, and I love that. I am inspired every single day by the pieces that you guys have been posting in the group. Please keep them coming. I love it. If you've got questions, that's a place for you to ask. You can ask me. You can ask any of our community members. We are building a wonderful little tribe of friends there, and we'd love to have you. So come hang out with us and join us. We're going to do drawings and giveaways, and got a lot of fun things coming up. I'm already thinking about what kind of giveaway we should do for Christmas. I'm thinking maybe we could even do some sort of like Secret Santa jewelry exchange or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe handmade ornaments with beads. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we're going to do some fun things. So if you haven't joined the community, come do that. If you have joined and you've got some friends that would, find some inspiration from our group, then invite them over as well. You guys, you can catch me at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today over on the Jewel Loom community page. If you've not joined over there and you are even slightly interested in looming, whether it is with fibers or whether it is with beads, come join that community and come hang out with us with our Facebook Lives. Today I'm doing a kind of a quick rundown of the original Jewel Loom, but on Wednesdays, Juliana and I both do a Facebook Live, and guys, we have so much fun. We always laugh and giggle, and it just turns into the silliest things. So if you want to have a good time, even if you're not quite ready to loom yet, come and hang out with us because we have a great time. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. If I don't see you on the Jewel Loom page, I will see you guys again next week, same time, same place. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.